Friday evening, 1956. A girl's bedroom in a split-level ranch outside Columbus. Aquanet and ironing starch in the air. A cotton dress pressed twice on the chenille bedspread. Her mother in the doorway, arms folded. Headlights sweep the curtain. A car door closes. Her mother says one sentence: "You watch everything tonight." 15 tests run in a single evening, not one written down. Passed from mother to daughter in kitchens across America. Everyone worked. Almost everyone has been forgotten. Number 15. She watched whether he came to the front door. The first test started before she even saw his face. She listened. A car horn from the curb meant the evening was already over. What she waited for was the sound of a car door closing, then footsteps on the front walkway, then the doorbell. Her father sat in the armchair with the evening paper, not reading it. Her mother had switched the porch light on 5 minutes early. If the boy honked from the street, the girl did not go outside. There was no discussion. Her mother had one line for it: if he cannot walk 30 feet to your front door, he will not walk through anything hard for you either. No second chance. The front door was the first gate. A man who would not pass through it never got to the second one. Number 14. She checked his fingernails before she checked his face. Within the first 10 seconds, her eyes went to his hands. The handshake with her father, the arm he offered. She was not looking at his suit or his jawline. She was looking at his nails, clean, trimmed, scrubbed. It did not matter if he worked a factory line at Bethlehem Steel or stocked shelves at the A&P. What mattered was whether he cared enough to clean up before he came for her. A Sears work shirt cost $1.90. Ivory soap cost a dime. A nail brush cost a nickel. Effort was free. A man who cleaned his hands before he touched hers was telling her something he never had to say out loud. Number 13. She listened to how he spoke to her father. He did not simply pick her up. He presented himself at the front door like a man with business to conduct. The handshake. "Good evening, sir." Eye contact held but not forced. Her father asking where they were going and what time she would be home. She stood in the hallway listening, sometimes at the top of the stairs. She was not part of this conversation. She did not need to be. If his voice got smaller, she heard it. If it got too smooth, she heard that too. The house was quiet enough to hear a liar. She did not need her father's approval. She needed to hear the boy speak when he thought she was not the audience. Now this next one might seem small, but the girls who knew it never forgot it. Number 12. She noticed whether he walked on the street side of the sidewalk. When they walked together, she noted which side he took. The curb side. Always. So if a car jumped the curb or a puddle splashed, he caught it. This rule was older than the automobile. It came from the days when slop was dumped from upper windows onto the road below. By the 1950s, it was muscle memory. A boy raised right did it without thinking. He shifted sides at every crossing. She never once asked him to. She just watched whether he did. Protection that required no announcement was the only kind she trusted. Number 11. She watched his shoes. After his hands, his shoes. Polished, or at least clean. Florsheim Imperials if his family had money. Jarman or Freeman if they did not. The leather buffed with kiwi shoe polish from the flat tin, the lid pried off with a thumbnail, the brush working in circles, the rag buffing to a shine. 3 minutes of effort on a bedroom floor. She could see it, or she could see its absence. Scuffed shoes on a first date told her he either did not care or did not know. Both were problems. Her mother told her once and she never forgot it. A man's shoes tell you where he has been and where he thinks he is going. 5 tests in, and not a single one of them involved a word he said to her. Every test so far was about what he did when no one was grading him. The 1950s girl was not looking for a performance. She was looking for a pattern. A man who performs on a first date will eventually stop performing. A man who simply is that way will not. That was the difference she was trained to find. Number 10. She watched how he treated the waitress, the diner, the drive-in, the soda fountain counter. She watched his mouth, but not when he was talking to her. She watched it when he spoke to the person serving their food. A Howard Johnson's on Route 9. A Woolworth's lunch counter with red vinyl stools. A car hop at the A&W skating up to the window with a metal tray. Did he say thank you without being reminded? Did he look the waitress in the eye? Did he snap his fingers? Did he complain about the coffee? A cheeseburger plate ran 65 cents. A slice of pie, 35. The tip was a dime, left face up on the Formica counter. How a man treats someone who can do nothing for him is who he actually is. She knew that at 17. Some people never learn it. Number 9. She listened for whether he mentioned his mother. Not a speech, not a complaint, just whether she existed somewhere in his conversation. My mother makes a pot roast every Sunday. My mother worked at the telephone exchange before I was born. A sentence, maybe 2. Said the way you mentioned someone who shaped you. Not a mama's boy tribute. Not silence either. If he never mentioned her at all, it told the girl one of 2 things. Either the relationship was broken, or he did not think women were worth mentioning. Both were written down in her mind before dessert arrived. A man who could speak about his mother with quiet, easy respect was a man who had been taught that women had weight in this world. And a boy who had never learned that was not going to learn it from a girl over a root beer float. But the next test was the one the mothers talked about most. Number 8. She noticed whether he opened every door, not just the first one. The car door at her house, that was easy. Every boy did that one because her father was watching. The real test was the rest of the evening. The restaurant door, the second car door at the diner, the door leaving the movie theater, the door back at her front porch at the end of the night. He walks around, she waits. Not because she cannot open a door, because she is watching whether his courtesy has a shelf life. The first door is the audition. The fourth door is the man. Consistency was the only test that mattered, and it could not be faked for an entire evening. Number 7. She watched whether he carried a clean handkerchief, folded in the back pocket or the breast pocket of his sport coat, white cotton, pressed flat with a steam iron. Not for him, for her. In case she got something on her hands at the drive-in, in case her eyes watered at the picture show, in case the August humidity made her blotting powder give up. An Aero brand handkerchief, 2 for 49 cents at the department store. A man who carried one had been taught something most boys today have never heard. That someone else's comfort comes before your own convenience. That square of white cotton was the smallest thing he carried and the loudest thing it said. None of these tests required money. Not one. The boy driving a used 1949 Ford with rust on the fender passed the same tests as the boy in his father's new Buick Roadmaster. That was the genius of the whole system. It screened for character, not income. The mothers who designed these tests had married during the Depression. They watched men lose jobs, lose homes, lose everything but what was inside them. They knew exactly how fast money disappears, and they knew exactly how slow character does. Number 6. She watched how he handled the check. He paid. That was not the test. How he paid was the test. The check placed face down on the table by the waitress. He picked it up without looking at it first. No wince. No comment about the price. No joke about what she ordered. He placed the bills inside the check folder, left the tip separately on the table, and stood up. A dinner for two at a decent restaurant in 1955 cost about $3.50. He probably made $40 a week. He did not mention either number. The test was not whether he could afford the meal. It was whether he could carry a weight without making her feel it. Number 5. She noticed what he ordered and whether he ordered for her, the waitress standing with a pencil and a green order pad. He turned to the girl first. "What looks good to you?" She told him. He turned to the waitress and placed both orders from memory. If she wanted the roast chicken, he said roast chicken. He did not substitute. He did not improve upon it. He did not suggest the cheaper plate. He relayed her words exactly as she said them. This was not control. This was public courtesy. He was her representative at the table, and his only job was to represent her accurately, listening to a woman and then speaking her words exactly as she gave them. There may be no rarer skill in any century. Number 4. She watched whether he kept his hands to himself. The entire evening, every single minute, a hand on the small of her back guiding her through a doorway. That was fine. An arm offered for the walk from the car, also fine. Anything beyond that on a first date, and the evening was over in her mind, even if her face did not show it. The arm that crept along the back of the movie theater seat at the Rialto. The hand that drifted toward a knee under the table. She said nothing. She moved. 1 inch. And that 1 inch was the loudest word she spoke all night. Restraint was the test. The young men who passed it were the ones who understood that patience is not the absence of wanting. It is the proof of respect. Every one of these tests was designed by women who could not easily leave a bad marriage. Divorce in the 1950s was a scandal that followed you for life. Alimony was often legally difficult to secure, and though mothers were increasingly favored in custody battles under the tender years doctrine, a divorced woman faced devastating financial and social hurdles. These mothers were not playing games on a Friday night. They were conducting the most important interview of their daughter's life. And they gave her one evening to get the answer right. Number 3. She watched what time he brought her home. 10 o'clock. Sometimes 9:30. The curfew was set by her father. It was not negotiable, and it was not a suggestion. The porch light on. Her father's shadow behind the screen door. The car pulling into the driveway 5 minutes early. Not 5 minutes late. 5 minutes early meant he respected the house. 5 minutes late meant he thought the rules bent for him. A Timex on his wrist, $3.95 from the Sears catalog. He checked it at the movie. He checked it during dessert. He was not bored. He was proving something. A man who could manage time on a date could manage a household, a paycheck, and a promise. The clock was the one test nobody argued with. Number 2. She told her mother everything, and her mother already knew half of it. The real test did not happen on the date. It happened in the kitchen afterward. 11 o'clock at night, the kitchen light still burning, her mother sitting at the Formica table with a cup of Sanka and a plate of Lorna Doones. The girl sat down, and her mother did not ask, "Did you have a good time?" She asked, "What did he do?" and the girl reported. Every door, every word to the waitress, the shoes, the handkerchief, the hands, the time. Her mother sipped and listened and nodded. Sometimes she said, "See him again." Sometimes she said nothing at all. And the nothing was the answer. Two women at a kitchen table running a debrief that no business school could improve upon. The intelligence was shared. The judgment was final. Number 1. The real test was whether she could see him, sitting in her father's chair. This one was never spoken out loud. It lived in a single image she carried all evening long. Her father's chair. The one by the window in the living room. The one at the head of the dinner table. The chair where the bills got opened and the newspaper got read and the hard news got delivered. Could she see this boy sitting in that chair in 20 years? This nervous, clean fingernail, polished shoe, door-opening boy. Could she see him holding a baby the way her father held her, carving a turkey at Thanksgiving, sitting up at 2 a.m. with a sick child pressed against his chest? She was not asking whether he made her heart race. She was asking whether he could carry the life she already knew was coming. Romance was a luxury. Reliability was a religion. And the girl who could tell the difference at 17 had been taught by a woman who learned it the hard way. Somewhere right now, a woman in her 80s remembers every single one. Not because someone reminded her, because the boy who passed them all is sitting in the next room, 70 years later, and he still opens every door. And if you want more forgotten wisdom from the generations who came before us, the next video is waiting for you right now.